covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Oh, hey, good morning. Thanks for waking up with us here on Channel 5 and streaming on 5 Plus. Now, we're off to a bit of a rainy start here on this Monday.
It's not the prettiest of days, not the best of Memorial Day forecast, but it does improve later today. So there's at least that, right? A lot of us waking up to widespread rain. Live radar, it's pretty busy out there this morning. Now, one thing you're not going to find is you're not going to find any thunderstorms. You're not going to find any severe weather. We're really not concerned with that today. If there's anything to mention, it'd be the potential for some additional flooding out there. This rain, though, generally most of it's light in nature. That's the green color right there. Yellow indicating us some moderate rainfall at times. The heaviest of which is falling south of Interstate 40 from Fort Smith through Poto back over towards Boonville. This is the last batch of widespread rain we're going to see. We track it out the rest of the day. Chances are slowly but definitely consistently dropping once we get into the afternoon. Instead of widespread rain, we're looking at mostly dry conditions with just spotty to scattered showers going into this evening. River Valley looks pretty similar. High chance of rain the next couple of hours. We're stair-stepping that down into the lower category about 5, 6 o'clock this evening. Maybe not entirely dry then, but certainly it's going to be a lot better than the widespread rain we're seeing out there right now. Flood watch continues for everybody. The maroon color here, that's going to be our flood warnings. Flash flooding and some river flooding ongoing across the area. Until we can get this rain out of there, some of those streams and creeks are going to stay high. Of course, we want to avoid those. We'll have a look at the rest of this week's forecast. Got a couple of dry days, a couple more chances of rain as well. The breakdown in just a few. Traffic outside is looking pretty good right now. We noticed that along I-540 here at Old Greenwood Road in Fort Smith. Roads are wet, rain steady out there, but there's not a lot of volume. Holiday traffic's pretty light out there. No current accidents either, so we're up to speed in all directions. Take it easy on those roadways. We'll have another look at live radar here in just a few.
All right, thanks for that, Scott. Well, breaking news this morning, an inmate who once worked as a police chief in Northwest Arkansas has escaped from a prison, and police say he should be considered armed and dangerous. According to the Department of Corrections, Grant Hardin escaped Sunday afternoon around 3:30 from the North Central Unit near Calico Rock.
Here's a look at Hardin's most recent mugshot. He was serving sentences at the prison since 2017 for first-degree murder and rape. Both crimes happened in Benton County, where he also worked as a police chief in the town of Gateway. This surveillance photo released by the Stone County Sheriff's Office shows Hardin during the escape. The State Department of Corrections has confirmed he used a makeshift outfit to mimic law enforcement. Authorities have confirmed, though, it's not official gear, with all of theirs accounted for. Izard County investigators say Hardin was last seen wearing a black hat, black pants, and a black top. This morning, authorities are using every resource available, including drones.
Yeah, there's also a lot of manpower dedicated to bringing Hardin in, including Stone County Sheriff's Department, Department of Corrections, State Police, and the Izard County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff there saying that the roads leading into Stone County from Izard County are shut down, and they're checking all vehicles. They're encouraging people to stay alert no matter how far away they live from the prison, making sure vehicles are locked, and if you see something, say something. They're calling Hardin extremely dangerous.
We also have to look at it from the standpoint of view. I mean, what's going through his head? What do we think he's going to do? And, he's desperate. So he is going to be looking to steal a car or try to break into a house or, something of that nature. So.
Here's a look at Hardin's history. He was a police chief in Gateway, as we mentioned, pleaded guilty to first-degree murder for the shooting death of James Appleton that happened near Garfield in 2017. Hardin's rape conviction was for a separate crime that happened in 1997. DNA evidence was used to identify him as a suspect in the assault of a teacher at a Rogers Elementary School. He eventually pleaded guilty to that charge as well. The Benton County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying they're working closely with the Department of Corrections to locate Hardin due to his strong ties to Benton County.
Yeah, you can stay up to date with the search for Hardin as law enforcement across the state work to track him down. Just download the 5 News app. There you can also find extensive coverage of Hardin's past cases and the details that unfolded at his trials. In other news this morning, investigators have arrested a suspect after a stabbing in Fort Smith. Police say the incident happened inside of Hope campus on Sunday evening, and a victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators arrested 32-year-old Wesley Underwood. He is now facing 1 count of first-degree battery and is being held at the Sebastian County Adult Detention Center.
right after it passed over, they stepped outside. We just got a text that said, "Our house is gone."
That was a family member of a Decatur couple who lost their home in a tornado last May. This morning marks 1 year since the devastating tornado outbreak in Benton County. Although the storm claimed lives and devastated property, it also brought the community together. Today, the city of Decatur will hold a lunch in the park and proclamation to mark the anniversary. That event will last from 11 to 1 at Veterans Park. According to the National Weather Service, an EF3 tornado hit Decatur during the outbreak last year and traveled at least 7 miles. You can also join us for a special edition of 5 News First at 4 today as we reflect on the tragedy a year ago and the progress made since. Arkansas recovers 1 year later, today at 4, only on 5 News. Well, today is Memorial Day, a time to honor our nation's fallen servicemen and women. And here at home, the Fayetteville National Cemetery will host a remembrance ceremony starting at 10 this morning. According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, the federal holiday was originally called Decoration Day. It was formalized by a Memorial Day order in 1868. And don't forget, as you're heading out today, because of the holiday, some places like government offices, banks, and post offices may be closed.
Well, this weekend, the National Memorial Day concert drew big crowds at the U.S. Capitol. A star-studded list of performers like the U.S. Army Chorus, the National Symphony Orchestra, and gospel singer Yolanda Adams all came out to honor our nation's veterans. 5 News anchor Tiffany Lee is in Washington, D.C., where she caught up with Arkansas Congressman Steve Womack. He says the show was a great way to commemorate Memorial Day, but also wants people to take time to honor our veterans.
Take some time to pull away from the barbecue, pull away from the time to be off from work and taking that federal holiday, and plug in to exactly why we have this day set aside, to commemorate those, to honor those that died in defense of their country.
Well, New York was the first state to designate Memorial Day as a legal holiday. By the late 1800s, many more cities and community had declared it their own legal holiday.
Well, today, of course, expected to be a very busy day on the road and at airports. As Wendy Gillette reports, AAA has projected a record-breaking travel this holiday.
Travelers heading home after their Memorial Day holiday festivities could hit a snag of heavy traffic later today. AAA predicts more than 45 million Americans will travel this long weekend, setting a record.
If this weekend is any indication of what's to come, it's going to be very busy on our roadways, at the airports.
The Transportation and Security Administration was expecting to screen about 18 million people this weekend. Thursday was projected to be the busiest air travel day of the Memorial Day weekend period. At Newark Airport, Anthony Esposito was hoping his flight to Italy would depart on time.
A lot of the kiosks are pretty booked up right now, so it's taking a little bit of time to get through the terminals, but we're making our way.
More than 1,000 flights have been delayed at Newark since Thursday. The Federal Aviation Administration has cut flights in and out of the airport from 77 to 56 until at least mid-June, partly because of a shortage of air traffic controllers.
We're going to get Newark fixed, but are you going to see some disruption in regard to delays? Yeah, you're going to see delays. Is it safe? Yes.
Aviation experts predict wider problems.
There's an old adage within the air traffic control system in the United States. However New York goes, so goes the rest of the country.
There are some positives this summer for Americans. Gas prices are about 50 cents lower per gallon compared to last year, and airfares have also dropped. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, New York.
Well, developing this morning, police in South Carolina are investigating a shooting that left at least 11 people injured. Authorities say this happened Sunday night in Little River. Police did not give the conditions of anyone hurt or details on how they were injured, but they say the shooting was an isolated incident. They don't believe that there is a threat to the community in that area. Police also not releasing a lot of information on possible suspects or what led to the shooting, but we're keeping an eye and we'll bring you the latest. Well, today the president will mark Memorial Day and honor the nation's fallen by laying a wreath at Arlington National Cemetery.
Over the weekend, the president turned his focus to Russia's war on Ukraine. He criticized Russian President Vladimir Putin over his country's continued attacks on Ukraine, posting on social media that Putin has gone absolutely crazy. The comments came after a big and deadly Russian drone barrage over the weekend and following a massive prisoner swap between Russia and Ukraine.
Not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people. We're in the middle of talking and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
On social media, the president also criticized Ukraine's president, Volodymyr Zelensky's rhetoric, saying, quote, everything out of his mouth causes problems. Over the weekend, President Trump also announced he's postponing a 50% tariff on goods from the European Union from June 1st to July 9th instead. This came after he spoke with the president of the European Commission on Sunday.